Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we got more of these amazing mods that will transform your game. They aren't really massive though, they're not going to completely overhaul your game, but they will definitely enhance your gameplay and get you more immersed into actually playing Skyrim rather than modding forever. So if you end up liking the video, please make sure to hit that like button down below because it greatly helps me. And if you're on PC, also make sure you hit the endorse button for mod authors if you end up downloading their mods. And as of right now, let's dive right in. Firstly, starting off with one of my favorite follower mods of 2024, and surprisingly, it's a Khajiit. The first mod up today is called Sachil, the custom voice Khajiit follower. There's probably a little more finesse to her name though.
Okay. Well, I'm fine. Thank you. I guess not everyone is gold in these gold lands, yes?
As you can see, her voice is fully human, no AI involved, and she also has custom dialogue lines for whenever you enter cities, because previously she wasn't allowed in them. But now as your follower, she's able to explore so much more.
Byron looks very pretty, but I bet the people aren't that rich. Still very pretty though.
At base she is more of a mage, but will pull out a sword when running low on magicka, kind of like a spell sword. And because she starts with Alakir equipment, she is very useful early game. She also has a lot of little fun features that you can discover while traveling with her.
Say, because I don't know my birthday. I might be 20, but maybe it's my birthday today and I'm turning 21. Let me just keep it simple and say 20. I'm 20. How about you? No shame in that, friend. I hope you have enough healthy years to enjoy. Oh, I'm not trying to be rude. You look good for your age. I'm sorry.
Oblivion, take them.
Sachil is definitely my top 5 follower of 2024. But now we go more towards gameplay, by first starting off small with Healing VFX Edit by Kittytail. This one just got ported to Xbox and it overhauls the healing effect on your character or any NPC actively being healed. In vanilla, the healing effect is just a basic blinding light, but with this it looks much more magical and it looks like little fairies are aiding you in your recovery with the little wisp following your character. And that's probably why it's so popular on PC. Up next, one more by Kittytail, but this one is definitely a must-have in my opinion. This mod is called Slow Time Edit. This one overhauls the vanilla shout slow time in vanilla. When activated, it slows everything down, including your character. But with Slow Time Edit, now everything besides your character will be slowed, effectively allowing you to be a speedster for as long as the shout's effect is active. Effects will be slowed, enemies' reactions will also be slowed, and even their staggers will also be slowed. Without this mod, slow time essentially becomes useless. It's one of those shouts that not many people go out their way to get, especially against people who use magic like AoE, because they still track somehow. But with this mod, everything is slowed down, so it could become your main force during combat. The only possible way that this could be even better is if there was an active timer letting you know just when the slow time effect was ending. As of right now, I haven't found a mod available on Xbox for that, but I'm sure it exists for PC. Let me know how you guys feel about the balance of this mod, but now we're going to move on to the next mod. Now we have 2 mods to completely transform your Blue Palace and your environment, with the first one being the Blue Palace Terrace. But this one is the renewed or remastered version, if you will. The original one is also still available, it wasn't archived, and the patches for the original kind of still work, but I didn't test them all. This mod is a complete remaster of Solitude's Blue Palace interior, and it can be a little heavy, at least in the original. But with the remaster, many improvements have been made, adding on to the already beautiful interior, with many more bug fixes also being made. So you won't need quite as many patches as the original, but you still require those for extra mods such as Lux. But if you have enhanced lights and FX already installed, then this mod already has a patch for you. But the interior isn't what this main mod is really about. This mod, as the title suggests, adds a terrace to the exterior of Solitude Blue Palace that you do have to go to through Blue Palace, unfortunately, because everything that you see once you enter Solitude is just lots. And as you can see, while the garden does use some of your assets for the flowers and trees, it mainly features its own flora to truly make it look lush. I'm sure with this remaster coming out, a bunch more patches will also come out that makes it so that it only uses your floor, but for now this is what you'll get as soon as you install the mod. This mod does also place some of these trees in a courtyard before you enter the palace, but you'll mainly be focused on the terrace if you want to overhaul your Skyrim. But that's mainly because we have another mod for the courtyard, which conveniently has a patch for Blue Palace Terrace. This mod is called Skyfalls Blue Palace Courtyard, featuring a complete revamp of the courtyard. Not just adding items, but fully turning the front of the Blue Palace into a garden with rest areas. While the garden may not be as fancy as the Blue Palace Terrace mod, but it still has rest areas and beautiful flora to look at. The sort of pine trees and the statues that you're seeing are from Blue Palace Terrace, but everything else comes from Skyfalls Courtyard, including the main attraction, an overhaul to the entrance of the main building, adding a staircase with Solitude's symbol on the statue above the main doorway. Probably the only time you'll see it in 3D. But one more massive overhaul, this time for an Orc Stronghold. This mod is called Orc Exiles Cracked Tusk Keep. This Orc Stronghold in Falkreath, in vanilla besides its beautiful open field for battle, is quite forgettable for lack of better words. But with this massive overhaul, it has been completely turned into a fortress, with the only part that is lacking in my opinion with this overhaul is that the gate isn't locked and you can quite easily run into it. But with the new massive overhaul increasing the size of this fortress, new clutter as well as enemies, dead animals, and much more were placed so it doesn't feel as empty. But a quick note for compatibility reasons, this mod does not touch the interior of Cracked Tusk Keep, only the exterior was changed, so a Lux patch was not needed here. But if you have Lux Orbis, then a patch was already made for you in the optional files, but if you're on Xbox, then you have to download a completely separate mod because they don't keep patches on the same page. This is perfect for overhauling your Skyrim without taking a chunk of your 5 GB of modding reserve on Xbox. Moving on to the equipment side of Skyrim modding, the first mod being Nirn Necessities, adding SMP patch equipment to your game that, depending on what you chose during installation, will be distributed to named NPCs or just random world encounters, or you can leave it as craft only. But quick disclaimer before we move on, for those on console you will not have the physics because that relies on script extender, which isn't allowed on console because of reasons I don't know. So the port made to Xbox is a patch with the assets included of the original mod. So you'll pretty much get everything the main mod has, just not the physics unfortunately. But with that out the way, this mod has so much to offer without costing you 600 megabytes of space, ranging from lanterns to backpacks, and even scars for your characters to wear. Even couriers got their own special equipment that you'll see them walking around with. Most of the equipment provided by this mod though hasn't even been distributed, so a lot of it is left for you to distribute yourself between followers or with the SPID file if you're on PC, or you can just wear it to stand out from normal NPCs. But a quick warning for PC users, make sure to watch your FPS in dense areas. And now we have the armors, starting off with a classic that just got a small update. We have the mod Ritual Armor of Boethiah, featuring a unisex heavy armor that is a mix of ebony and dragon scale, but you will need the dragon smithing perk to make this armor, and also another requirement to get this armor is you have completed the Daedra quest, Boethiah's Calling. And while Boethiah's Calling might be a little tedious, this armor is definitely meant for in-game and that's why it's placed there, especially considering the materials required to craft it, but the stats definitely make it worth it. And I figured as a little why not, we have this amazing armor mod which is called Armor of Boethiah. This armor by Chakra SSE is inspired by dark fantasy settings, and it is also unisex just like the previous mod. With the craft recipe with a little less than dragon, it requires ebony smithing perk, as well as the regular materials for the ebony chest armor. Both of these armors are for in-game, and both have to deal with Boethiah, and while I do love the way that both look, that's pretty much the only reason why I feature both here. Let me know which one is your favorite, but now we're going to move on to the weapons side of things, with the first weapon being a completely new weapon called Silverguard. This sword comes with wonderful textures at base, but aside from it mainly being a beautiful weapon that anyone can wield but the undead, it comes with special effects upon using it to fight the undead. When you hit an undead creature, a vampire or werewolf, pretty much anything considered Daedric, The sword will activate its special power that will enchant it with extra fire damage to enemies, and also you'll have a 10% chance to completely kill whatever enemy that you're fighting, no matter how much HP they currently have. The effects of this sword will stack each time you kill something with the enchantment, all the way up till you reach 3 stacks. Then you'll gain a new passive skill called Silver Veil. That burns pretty much any enemy within range of you, but for the undead it will do extra damage to them. And as a disclaimer, you may want to be careful with this weapon if you're considered Daedric, such as a vampire or werewolf. The enchantment will hurt you as well as long as it is activated, but for much less damage than if you were to hit someone else with it. The next mod dealing with the DLC weapon by the name of the Bloodskal. This new weapon overhaul for the Bloodskal is called Bloodskal Blade 4 by Billyro. They also make wonderful weapon mods aside from this. Make sure to check out their page. But this mod just enhances on the appearance of the Bloodskal, turning it into a silver sword with animated effects as if the sword was truly alive. Instead of the enchantment being active 24/7, pretty much hiding the full glory of the blade, it will now only be active when you first draw the sword for a few seconds, as well as when you swing it, but then it will quickly go back to its original form if you are in combat. And that was pretty much it. Let me know what you thought about these mods down below in the comments, or a mod that you think is severely underrated that I should take a look at. No time schedule on that. But as of right now, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.